Yo, what is up, everybody? John here from Tau Tactics, bringing you another video today. So, pretty exciting this morning. The list for the World Team Championship dropped. I myself am playing in my first team tournament in a couple months, so I wanted to go over the list with you, see what people are bringing. I'm certainly curious because like I said, I'm newer to team events, so I'm certainly hopefully going to use some of this information to inform what type of list I'm going to bring to my team event coming up in a couple months here. So the first one that I'm very curious about is Andrew Gonyo. Now, if you looked at the Best Coast Pairings rankings, Andrew Gonyo wouldn't show up very high. Reason being is he's already proven himself as a singles player, well enough to be starting for Team USA clearly. But Andrew Gonyo is one of the best top players the last 5 to 10 years, and yeah, I'm just curious what Andrew is running. Oh, interesting. He's running Kauyon. So he's got the Cold Star with the Exemplar of the Kauyon. I wonder what unit he's bringing with that. So he's got Kauyon. Wait for turn 3. Very nice. He's got the double Cadre Fireblade, Shadow Sun, Commander and Cold Star with the triple fusion and cyclic. I imagine that's going with a Sunforge unit. Very strong deep strike and rapid ingress threat for turn 2. Let's see, the 2 Breachers, very cool. He's got 2 Devilfish, pretty standard. Sunforge unit, Ghost Keel. Now that's interesting. So I used to play Ghost Keels. I played a couple of Ghost Keels in the first GT I played in. They perform fairly well for me. I've noticed that the reason I think I think the reason that it's most interesting is because of the terrain format. So WTC, their terrain is a little bit more dense than the GW terrain that most of us are probably used to. And yeah, I certainly, I found that Ghost Keels are better in terrain formats that are lighter. So like I used to play on player place terrain, so it was pretty dang good in player place because there were just wide open shooting lanes. It's a lone op, so you could just sit him in the middle, right behind an objective, like infiltrate him there, and then put him on the point and force someone to come deal with him. So I'm really curious. I hope I get a chance to hear Andrew talk about this, or potentially see a game of him playing with the Ghost Keel to see how he's leveraging it today. He's got the one Hammerhead with Ion. That is interesting. I've seen people start using these in Kauyon more because of the extra shots, the D6+3 blast, and having Sustain 2. I mean, totally could see that being really strong. Pathfinder unit, as always, I would be surprised if I don't see a Pathfinder unit in every single list that I look into today. We've got the double Piranha, just great scoring pieces. Scout, they can tag stuff early, really good for Kauyon because you just want to basically die a slow death, right? Just wait as long as possible to turn 3 and then turn on the afterburners. We got the triple Riptide, all with ions, missiles. He's got the twin plasma, interesting. And then the double stealth suit. Okay, so he has 2, 3. He only really has three guides, technically a 4th with the marker like keyword, the Cadre Fireblade, the Breachers. They don't want to really be guiding. Shadow Sun can guide, but she's not giving ignore cover. So interesting that's a little light on the guides. Certainly interesting about that. Well, cool. Let's check out another list. Alright, we have Team Australia, Callum. Okay, Callum is running Retaliation Cadre. Very interesting. He's got Starflare Ignition, so the uppy downy on the Enforcer Commander, Internal Grenade Rex on the Cold Star. He's running the 3 commanders. So this is interesting. So I've found that when creating a Retaliation list, I've only played a couple of games of Retaliation myself, that what I'm thinking about is you really want to buff the crisis units that you have on the board. So when you have like 5 of them, that means like, you're probably starting 2, maybe 3 on the board, and 2 are coming out of Deep Strike, 2 or 3 are coming out of Deep Strike. There's only so many units that you can use Fire and Fade on, so I find that like there's diminishing returns, or at least what I hypothesize is you're getting diminishing returns out of the other 4 units that you aren't using, 3-inch on, you aren't using Fire and Fade on, you aren't using Aerocon protocols on. So it seems like Callum here has a similar idea. He doesn't want to run 5 big bricks, which is certainly very tempting, but the Cold Star, he's got this, is probably going with the Melt unit. I imagine Farsight's going with the Melt unit. He's got the 3 missile pods on the uppy downy guy, so he can kind of jump back and forth. Very interesting seeing broadsides here. The reason being is, broadsides, I find in the current terrain format in GW that they don't have. They come down and they destroy whatever they're shooting at, and then they kind of sit there. Now, one caveat to that is they recently changed pivoting for broadsides, so they can now pivot their guns, which actually does give them a lot more potential to get into firing angles and whatnot. But the WTC in particular, the terrain format is super dense, so it's really interesting to see broadsides, to be quite honest with you. The fire knives, they're going with the uppy downy guy. We've got interesting, double star scythes. So this is something that I actually thought about myself, was running at least just one solo star scythe. The reason being is they're a really strong rapid ingress threat, because let's say a unit of yours is about to get charged by some marine equivalents, right? Like T4 3-up save, 2 wound bodies, or I don't know. Let's say GSC, hybrid metamorphs. But mostly marine bodies is what it's really good into. So you can rapid ingress them in front of a unit that's about to charge one of your units, and then say, all right, come on, charge me. You're about to get hit by 66 flamers that are strength 5, AP 1, damage 1. And if you're 6 inches away, it's AP 2. So pretty dang strong, just like good skirmish pieces. You can drop them 3-inch, steal an objective. I think they're a really strong unit and potentially usable in other detachments. I've thought about putting them in Mont'ka as well. The Sunforge unit that goes with the Cold Star, the other Sunforge unit that goes with Farsight, very cool. He's got the Crew Carnivores for sticky, 2 units of them. I think that's solid. Just like force your opponent to come to the middle. If they don't, you're sticking objectives. Crew Tox Riders, I do like Crew Tox Riders. They probably fit a similar role to Piranhas in the early game, right? If you go first, you can scout 7, and then they can score you the midfield objectives without having to really commit real units. They're also sort of annoying to kill. They're like T5 6 wounds or T6 5 wounds, something like that. They're actually a decent skirmish piece. Like I think they have like 7 attacks in melee. Some of them are lance, so they get +1 to wounds. That's pretty cute. We've got the Pathfinder team to infiltrate early game, double Riptide, and triple stealth suit. Very cool. Well, I like this list from Callum. It's pretty strong. Sweet. Okay, let's see what else we were working with here. Belgium, Bulgaria, Team Canada, Zach. Alrighty. Let's see what Zach's cooking with. Okay, our first instance of Mont'ka. I really was expecting more Mont'ka, but very cool that the first 3 lists that we look at are 3 different detachments. Can't stop, won't stop. Indeed. Alrighty, so we got the triple Cadre Fireblade, very nice, with the Strike Swiftly enhancement. I've been toying around with adding this in because I find that in a lot of in Pry Nexus, there's a lot of instances of missions where you want to go second. So building a list that's strong going first as well, I think is important, because then you're not as big of a disadvantage if you do go first. You can take advantage of that with Strike Swiftly. Now, Strike Swiftly isn't as good going second, but there's already an inherent advantage there, so it is a little bit of a point sink, because 25 points means you're probably taking a real unit out of the list, but I think it's super interesting to include here, and certainly probably better in teams. So we got the triple Breacher, we got the double Devilfish, and now we're seeing the Smart Missiles. So looks like how many? Yep, Smart Missiles. So he's got 6, 12, 18, 24. Plus 6, so he's got 30. Ooh, there we go. There it is, the Tiger Shark. So he's got 30 Smart Missile system shots. Now, I think this is really important because, especially in WTC format, and I've been toying around with this myself. Kyle Grundy from the Pure Type program is the one who's kind of popularized it, in my opinion. Being able to dig out units behind objectives, or at least threaten them with indirect, and just say, hey, if you don't come out, over 2 turns, I'm going to kill your 5-man intercessor unit, or I'm going to start plinking wounds off of, some of your scoring pieces. Tau does have a problem with digging units out from staging points. Mont'ka does specifically, so this just helps put a little bit more pressure on. He's got the 1 hammerhead with the railgun. 2 hammerheads with railguns. I imagine these guys are here for like things like CSM with Vindicators, Marines. Mont'ka really loves going into Marine bodies. Things of that nature, popping transports so you can get to the guys on the inside. We've got the Pathfinder team, the 1 Piranha, and then 3 a unit of 3 piranhas. Very interesting. So he is doubling down on the alpha strike here. So if he goes first, he's scouting this piranha unit up 9. He's going to throw 6 seekers at you and 3 meltas, potentially melta 4 fusions, which I quite like. They do give up a lot of Bring It Down. I'm curious what this list gives up on Bring It Down. He's got the 2 ion accelerators, very cool. Double stealth suits and the Tiger Shark, of course. Again, the nice part about this list, so if he goes first, he can use Strike Swiftly, he can scout the 3 piranhas, and the 4th one, obviously, also. But then, which is great, but then if he goes second, what he can do with the Tiger Shark is, in his opponent's turn 2, so that they go first, you go second, they go first, the top of turn 2, I should say. You can then Rapid Ingress the Tiger Shark and then activate it in your turn 2. So it's certainly like a balanced approach, right? You both like going first and second in this list, so I think it's certainly very interesting. The Tiger Shark obviously is still good, even though you can't activate it the turn you come in via WTC ruling. Cool. So let's take a look at one other list here. Let's go to the bottom. All right, we got Team Scotland, Ryan. All right, Ryan, let's see what you're cooking with, man. Oh, wow, another Retaliation list. He's got the 1 enhancement, the Uppy Downy. Again, he's running the 3 commanders. Oh boy, he's got the... he's running a commander with 3 flamers and a high output burst. Very interesting. Oh my gosh, and then the Uppy Downy with the flamers. Whoa. 3 Star Scythe, 1 Sunforge, 2 Fire Knife. So I really wonder where these commanders are going. I mean, with all these flamers, it seems like they're going with the Star Scythe units, but there's also a chance that he's putting the Fire Knives. I'm not totally sure. All flamers, he's got a Melta, he's got the Ghost Keel, and more Krutox Riders. Interesting. Yeah, again, I think it's because he doesn't want to give up Bring It Down, adding in the Piranhas, because they just give up 4 points immediately. I think that's really smart. He's got the triple Riptide, smart missile systems, just more volume of fire, and indirect shots, and the triple stealth teams. I don't know what to make of this list. I feel like this is one of those instances where, like, clearly this guy's probably, is really good at the army that he plays, and sometimes you look at a list and you think to yourself, okay, well, I have no idea how this works, but as long as this guy knows how this list works and what it's good into, and which matchups he wants, then I'm certain it can be very strong. Cool. Well, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Let me know what you think down below. Just thought I'd bring this to you because I think it'll be really interesting to see how Tau plays. It's really cool to see a bunch of different detachments represented, and I've always thought that the Tau internal balance is really strong externally as well. When you get to 8-man team events, Tau can be really strong because fast guns are good. So thanks again for tuning in, everybody. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.